Hi, I'm Scott Sigler. Let me steal just a couple minutes of your time to tell you about my book, Infected. First, I'll tell you a little bit about me, then I'll tell you a little something about the book. I've been writing for about 15 years, and I've been rejected hundreds of times. Nobody thought that my cross-genre style of horror/hard science fiction/thriller would sell. But I knew that it would, and I refused to quit. So I had to find a way to prove that people would like my stories. In 2005, I discovered podcasting and put out the world's first podcast-only novel, Earthcore. Earthcore was released like the radio serials of the 40s and 50s, except I gave the episodes away online instead of over the airwaves. People liked it so much they started to call it Earth Crack, and they were demanding their weekly fix. They were so addicted to it, the fans started to call themselves junkies, and the name really stuck. Then I did a second podcast-only novel called Ancestor. Before we knew it, we had 30,000 listeners, and it helped land me a publishing deal with a really small Canadian imprint. Well, we put out Ancestor, and thanks to the junkies, it shot up to #2 overall in the fiction bestseller list on Amazon.com. And it was #1 in horror and #1 in sci-fi. The thing would have been the #1 book overall if it wasn't for this rotten punk called Harry Potter. I hate that kid. Ancestor did so well, it wound up landing me a deal with Crown Publishing, who's bringing you Infected. And I still podcast every week, and you get those free audio stories at scottsigler.com. So now I bet you'd like me to get to the point and tell you what Infected is all about. Well, Infected is a story of biological possession. So there's no ghosts, no goblins, zombies, vampires, or any of that supernatural stuff. I really try and use hard science to scare the crap out of you. All across America, ordinary people are turning into brutal serial killers. They're murdering their friends, their spouses, even their own children. The symptoms include rage, paranoia, and psychotic behavior. But for Perry Dawsey, the symptoms start with a simple itch. 7 of them, to be precise. On his collarbone, his forearm, his shin, his thigh, his right butt cheek, on his back, right below the shoulder blades, and in one other area that we won't talk about here. Perry develops the same symptoms as everybody else, except Perry is already a borderline psychotic. He's also 6'5", 250 pounds of ex-All-American linebacker badass. Perry spent his whole life trying to control his rage, but this infection pushes him over the edge. I hope you pick up a copy of Infected, available online and in bookstores everywhere, on April 1st, 2008. The infection kills you slowly if the cure doesn't kill you first.